Hello everyone, and welcome to the 38th episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. On today's episode, we talk to an incredible actress, playwright, singer, and all-around great human being. Her name is Riley Wilson. So without further ado, let's hop into episode 38 of the Little Thespian Podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 38th episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. On today's episode, we have an incredible actress, playwright, and all-around great human being. Her name is Riley Wilson. Thank you so much, Riley, for being on the episode today.
Thank you for having me. Hello, I'm excited.
So am I. It's going to be a great episode, and we're going to jump into older times when we were both at Abbott. We're now both graduated and we both left the program, but it's still good to jump back into those old memories. We're also going to talk about some new stuff and stuff yet to come. So you guys should definitely be looking out for that stuff when we do talk about it. But before we hop into the podcast, I always say, guys, unfortunately, we are not done with COVID quite yet. Not everyone has got their vaccine, and we still have to deal with masks and washing hands and all that jazz for the foreseeable future. So guys, please do your part, wear a mask, wash your hands, don't forget to socially distance. So before we hop into the podcast, I also like to just acknowledge that, again, we talked about this on the last episode, that hate and discrimination is not something that should be in the world as it is. And us actors, we're trying to stop that with all sorts of types of art. So guys, please try and do your part to, just stop the hate. Let's hop into something more lighthearted with theater. So the first question, as for always on the Little Thespian Podcast, is Riley, how exactly did you get into theater?
Well, I was always quite theatrical as a child. And then throughout high school, I did the musicals. And that's when I was super into musical theater, and I did singing lessons, and I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And then in 9th grade, I went to see Under Milkwood at Abbott. It's by Dylan Thomas, and that year went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with that show, and I was floored. When I saw that show, I was like, I have to go here. This is what I want to do. I want to be an actress. So pretty much since then, I knew I wanted to go to Abbott in theater. And yeah, now I'm here. But yeah, it was definitely from like a young age, I knew I wanted to do something in the arts. And then as I got into high school, that's when I kind of geared myself more towards theater and less like visual art and singing and stuff like that.
And also, guys, I didn't say it at the beginning, but Riley's an amazing singer as well.
Same, same
But
thing.
honestly, like I find that it needs to be more accessible for kids to do theater. You know what I mean? We have these little camps, but it really has to be knowledge too with high school and stuff like that. The arts really need to be a factor. You know what I mean? And it's
100%.
good. It needs to start young. You know.
Yeah, it plays such a huge role in your development as a person. Like it helps exponentially. Um, so no, I'm all for it. I definitely think we should start them young. And I also think that everyone, even like people who want to be accountants, should do some theater because it just helps even with like your self-esteem, your social abilities. Like it just helps everyone, in my opinion.
And it's a great segue too to ask my next question, which is, do you have any words of wisdom for someone who may want to jump into theater but is scared to? Because unfortunately, there's so many people that just don't go on stage because they're scared to, take that leap.
Hmm. Um, my words of wisdom would be, it's kind of funny because you want to say like just do it, but really, and this is something I wish someone had told me, was what's the worst that could happen? Like there is such a, I don't know, we perceive failure as this like huge like da da da, I'm gonna die and stuff like that, and we're all so afraid of failure, but you grow through failure, and ultimately I've done the most growing through my every time I failed, and fear of failure will hold you back from reaching your full potential. So my words of wisdom would be just go for it, keep your head up, and you will land on your feet. That's it.
That's very wise, and it's true. I mean, honestly, once you get on that stage, you either know it's for you or you know it's not for you.
Mhm.
Um, it might not be the first time you do it, but chances are, if you're doing a second show or a third show, it's because you like it. I've been
Mhm.
saying on here, it's a career of passion. If you weren't passionate about it, you wouldn't do it. And if you have the passion for it, go for it, and someone will be there to catch you
Mhm.
because it's never a one man show really. So yeah, especially like with us in our ensembles, if you guys are going to school for this, I have to say the ensembles at Abbott and at Dawson, of what I've heard, like you literally become a family, guys. It
Mhm.
really becomes that. So you will have someone to catch you no matter what. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's you definitely grow as a person, but you grow as a team, and yeah, there's always someone to help you get back up, and yeah, that was something really special that I experienced in Abbott, was that family aspect that you build with your class. It's really special.
And I'm actually going to jump right in and talk about your class. So, the first one that I want to talk about is one that I still like love, and I got the chance to do a reading of it, which is You Can't Take It With You. So, how is
Hmm.
playing Penny? Because my God, you guys had me gut laughing from beginning to end. So, how was that for you?
Honestly, that was a really, really fun production. I wanted Penny so bad. Like I got into that audition and I was like, Penny is mine. um, and she's hilarious, but she also reminded me of my own mother. And that's kind of what I connected to really when I was playing her. And my mom's pretty wild, and I've also got crazy aunts. And I love these kind of outspoken female characters. I think they're important. Um, and yeah, it was really fun. And it was definitely one of the like more lighter pieces we got to work on. And it was the first comedy we had done together as a class. So that was really interesting too, to like, um, just to work on rhythm and work on comedic timing. And that was something really important for Penny because I had ton a ton of lines. And the in comedy especially, it's delivery is so important. So it was really fun, but also really I learned a lot. It was really educational. But yeah, it was tons of fun. Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that you guys are having fun on that stage, and I think that's a key to comedy. Is once you're having fun on stage and like the lines are, already there,
Yeah,
you're just having fun with your class, and especially with
exactly.
you
Yeah.
can't take it with you. It's so easy to just, have fun because
Oh
you
yeah,
guys
it's
are family.
wild.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a family, and there's like, it's also pretty prop heavy, and it's just like it's visually funny as well. So yeah, if you've got your lines down and you're all just playing on stage, it's the best. And we had one night where there's a scene where we had water on like this table, and somebody knocked it over. I think it was Essie, like Perla, while she was dancing. She knocked it over, and there was water everywhere. So then randomly, Colin Cough bursts in, and props had given, they like shoved a mop into Darcy's hand. So we're all like, oh my God, how do we clean up this water? And then Colin Cough comes in with a mop, and it's like that kind of improv and like jovialness and stuff like that that made it super fun too, because things would go wrong. And it was kind of fun to see how we'd maneuver within that. But no, it was, I'll never forget that. It was so funny.
I mean, it kind of makes sense too with the story when you think about it, that like stuff is going wrong at this household. So just for
Mm,
actual stuff to go wrong, it
very fitting.
works. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and especially with Kolenkov coming in with it does make sense. I mean, he's the like very outspoken one. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Maybe a bit too outspoken at times. But yeah, I mean, very fun, and I honestly, I have very fond memories of it just watching it. So I can only imagine you.
Mm.
But I actually want to jump into a good mother into an evil stepmother because you were in Into the Woods. So how was doing that musical? Because that musical is incredible. I love it. If you guys have not heard Into the Woods, amazing music. And you played the iconic evil stepmother. So how was that?
That was really wild. Into the Woods was so much fun, and it was crazy because I was originally cast as Lucinda, one of the stepsisters, and then the actress who played the stepmother got sick, or she had an injury. So then I got stepmother. So we're doing the runs and whatever. It's going really great. I mean, I love musical theater, and especially Sondheim, like very tricky. But when you get it right, it's like, oh, those harmonies. But then um, a couple shows into the run, Vanessa, who played Baker's wife, got sick. So then I had to do 4 shows of Baker's wife. And I remember Rob texting me like 2 hours before the show being like, Vanessa's sick, you have to be Baker's wife. And I was like, oh my God. And I went on with the book, and it went really well, and everyone helped me. I had I remember Jenna and Felix pushing me in the right direction, and the cast was really helping me out. But that was just like a whirlwind, and it was, doing a musical really is something else. It's so immersive, and especially with the set, like I just remember everyone really getting into the world. Um, I know it was loads of fun, but doing a evil stepmother was really fun because I don't normally get cast as like the evil person. So it was nice to kind of flex those muscles and like do something different from like the funny or the like kind of stock straight woman. But no, it was wild. It was fun.
Again, another very fond memory. That was actually the first show I saw at Abbott because I was
Oh
only
yeah.
coming in, right? I
Oh,
was not even in first year yet. Um, and my God, just excuse me, as someone that's about to go into the program, that's an amazing first thing to watch. The technical aspect, the design was incredible, and everyone was just incredible. So yeah, it was very nice to know that that was going to be my journey for the next 3 years. Not that I would be in a musical, but just knowing that I would be a part of that stage. It was great to, start there. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a wild show to see as like your first Avid
very,
show.
very much so. And
Yeah.
I was scared because I see it on Facebook and I see you guys rehearsing and I'm like, oh my God. And then you go and see it and you're like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
you're there. And next thing you know, you're on
Yeah.
stage and it's done. Right. So
Mhm. Rehearsals
um
for that was like a boot camp. It
hmm.
was wild, but yeah, it turned out amazing.
Again with Sondheim, it's very
Yeah, you can't afford to to not rehearse that stuff.
yeah, it's crazy, guys. But you guys should definitely check out Into the Woods. If you guys have not heard it, you're missing out. It's fairy tales. They're all fairy tales. You guys can probably understand that with the evil stepmother, but you guys should definitely check it out. I also want to talk about Gut Girls because I love that show. It was in the studio, and you guys had just an amazing cast and an amazing immersive experience because we were on either side of you in
Mhm.
the
So
studio. So,
close.
how was that for you?
Gut Girls was my favorite show to do at Abbott by a mile. It was, first of all, accents. Like we had to do Cockney accents, which was something a lot of us had never even done before. So already it was something super new. And then to have, like you said, the set be in the middle of the room and have the audience right next to us um, really made the show super intimate, which made our acting more real in a sense. Like when everything's more tight and together and smaller. I love small venues because there's something special about having the audience right there with you. Um, and yeah, especially the character that I was playing, Polly, I am still so attached to that character. And the story too, like it was nice to have a female driven cast and a female driven story with a female director. There's a lot of girl power there. And especially between the five gut girls. Yeah, it was really special. And uh, Leslie killed it on the costumes. The costumes really brought it all together. And the set, like the gutting shed, was wild. And another thing that I loved about, sorry, I'm going on a tangent. I'm like, yeah, it was great. I loved that they gave us not real meat, but they made us like prop meat to cut. And I remember they had made these like guts for me to like squeeze out, and just made it all feel so real. And I was really attached to the story, and again the accents. Like it was just a blast to do and to be a part of Tracy Lee's first directing experience. She's amazing. Everyone needs to get directed by her. Um, and yeah, it was. I will miss Gut Girls forever.
It's good that you have fond memories about it though, and like I can speak from an audience's point of view. It was just incredible to, see such a different show happening.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And from a different director's point of view, which it's great, and I feel like it should happen more at Abbott, right? That you have, you kind of do a lottery of who gets what show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Tracy Lee, incredible. And then she went on and did Pride and Prejudice as well, right after you guys. Um, and just overall, it needs to happen more. You need to have
Yeah.
a variety of
Mhm.
directors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do get the immersive set. The little small venues are 10 times better than the huge ones, I find,
Exactly.
because it just allows them to be a part of the story. You know what I mean? And yeah, so Gut Girls, I know you're gonna miss it. It was definitely incredible, and hopefully they can do Gut Girls again soon because the story is incredible as well.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys. So I'm sorry as I'm losing my voice for some reason. But I actually want to talk now about after Gut Girls, and now once you've kind of dove in to the professional world. So can you talk a little bit about Dirty Mirror Collective for us?
So after I left school, I was approached by Tracy Lee and Mia Cooper Graham to be a part of this theater collective. And at first we didn't have a name. We were just writing this show called Shed about body image and eating disorders. So we just came into it. We were like, we want to write this show. We didn't really know that we wanted to make a company right away. We just knew that we wanted to write this show and that we were going to do it for however long it took to put it on. And we wrote the show for 2 years. So out of school, I was really focused on that. And then eventually we got to put it on at Abbott. But now we formed Dirty Mirror Collective, and we've added a new member, Vanessa Schmaltz. She's amazing. And Tracy Lee is still helping us, though she's busy with her baby. And yeah, now we're just hoping with the company to put on more theater, but also put on theater that evokes change and is thought-provoking and can provide a platform for marginalized people and issues that are considered more or less taboo in A, society, and B, the theater world. We're trying to like break down walls here. So that's pretty much what Dirty Mirror Collective is about. And yeah, now we're working on, so we did the show for 2 years, put it on at Abbott in the Casgrain Theater, but on stage. So again, we had that small, tight-knit audience experience, and it went really well. Honestly, I was nervous, but I was really, really happy with the outcome. And now we're working on putting on more shows. We're working on a remount of Shed.
I can only imagine just, writing the show and then performing it, and doing it ironically back where you started too. It's such a journey. And it must be so great to, just put that message out there, these taboo stories that people don't write about need to be told, you know what I mean? Because as actors, we are trying to help society, right? We're trying to make people see in a different point of view. So it's great that you guys are doing this. I know I've said it before, but great job. And I honestly cannot wait to see this remount when it does come out. But yeah, guys, if you guys are in Montreal and Shed is happening, go and see it. Okay, please. And go check out their Instagram, which I will link down below. I also want to ask, how about acting in the future? Are you thinking more about writing more, or are you thinking acting as well? Or are you doing both simultaneously?
My main goal and love would be to primarily focus on acting. But especially with the pandemic and kind of the place that I'm at, it's not really a full-time job at the moment. And like, there isn't enough coming in, like, I think I consider myself an actor, but also an artist. And I really think it's important to flex those muscles. And that's why, like, I started writing, and I just feel like there are so many stories that need to be told, and not enough vessels for them. And especially for the gigs that I was getting, I mean, it's a journey. So you start small and then you kind of get into the bigger stuff, like the meatier roles. but I found that it wasn't hitting that artist part of me. And that's why it's important, in my opinion, as an actor, to also keep your other tools sharp, and to keep your hands in all forms of the industry, because that will just help you understand each person's role. And also, I think, I mean, to be an actor is to be an artist, and we need, we just need to keep that alive in us, it can get difficult if you're solely doing self-tape auditions and stuff like that. Like it's definitely a journey. But I would love to do both, like equally, to answer your question. I love writing and I love creating. Like, I love really contemporary, thought-provoking art that you look at and you're like, oh, I've never seen that before, or it's kind of twisted and dark. That's the kind of stuff I like to create, because I want people to, I love it when people leave the theater with like this different perspective or these feelings, that they don't normally think about. We had that a lot after Shed. I had so many people come up to me and be like, I've never thought women felt like that. And it's like, they do. We just like don't have a platform to talk about it. So I'd like to do both. I'd like to do acting, and then also eventually I want to be like a screenwriter. I'm also trying to get into filmmaking, and I'm so awful with technology. So I'm trying to like get better and learn more about behind the scenes work as well. I just think it's important to like be multifaceted and really sharpen your skills. But yeah, so I want to do it all.
And I mean, that's the thing about actors. Like, we need to live to tell stories, right? And we need to keep on learning, because the more we learn, the more parts we can play, the more things we can do, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, it is true. I love that feeling, going out and seeing people, and that they've been changed from the experience. It's incredible. It's someone said on the podcast that art heals, and theater definitely does that. Sometimes we can make you feel an emotion that you might have not felt in a long time, and I feel like during COVID now, it's definitely a voice that needs to be heard. People need that cathartic experience.
I went to, sorry.
Yeah. No, go right ahead.
I went to see a Fringe show the other day at Monument National. It was called The Box by a guy named Mills. I don't know his last name. But even just being, because I haven't been in a theater for a year and a half, being at a show and like the lights coming down right before it starts, like even that is magic. But no, it definitely, it impacts people. And I think definitely during the pandemic, like people were feeling that lack of theater and that lack of expression and that catharsis, as you were saying. I'm excited and I'm like grateful that Montreal is on its way back to doing theater. But theater definitely heals.
Absolutely. And like, I can't wait to actually, get back on stage and see from that perspective again. Could just seeing people, enjoying themselves. Unfortunately, we still have masks, so it's going to kind of be hard to see what they're feeling. But hopefully, they're feeling, a sense of catharsis, because again, a lot of people need it. And I'm so glad that we're near that at Montreal, hopefully. I mean, I know the Habs have been, putting in their work, and we've had 3,000 some odd people there. So hopefully, we can get some venues happening.
That's
very,
a good
very
feeling.
soon. Unfortunately, we only have 2 more questions left, and I'm sad about that, because I can do this all day.
Me too.
I do want to ask about like any future plans just for Riley in itself? I know you were talking about filmmaking and whatnot. Are you really diving into also doing film? I know you wear a lot of hats already, but is there anything that you're looking forward to in the future after COVID ceases to exist, which we're all hoping is very, very soon? But yeah.
Mhm. Well, I definitely want to get, yeah, I want to look into interning at a production studio. I wanted to just learn more because I've learned about being on camera. I've learned about being on stage and all that, but I really want to learn more about behind the scenes. I'm also really interested in script supervising. So I was taking a on-camera workshop by Luis Oliva. If anyone is looking for an on-camera workshop, it is the best. It is 10 classes and it taught me so much. I grew so much as an actor through this workshop. Anyways, he kind of opened my eyes to what a script supervisor does and what they take care of on set. And essentially, it's taking care of all the details, making sure the continuity is correct, which is super important. But they also work with lines and they track all the camera shots so that the film editor can have an easier time editing and has like a shot list. And you explain each shot and the camera angle and if it was a good one, a good take or not a good take. So that's something I want to start getting into. And then also I want to do more on camera work, like just really getting on camera more, working on that style of acting because I've done so much theater. It was quite a difference. Like when I when I got an agent and started doing film auditions, I was like, oh my God, what is this? It's definitely a jump. So for the foreseeable future, I want to work my camera acting and yeah, get into like the nitty gritty of behind the scenes. Cause yeah, I just want to be, yeah, I want to be an actor, but I just want to make art at the end of the day. And yeah.
That's incredible, and it's true. It is a whole different beast. Film acting compared to theater acting, guys, completely different.
Mhm.
As much as it's still acting, theater you have to be huge. Film you have to be small in a way. Um, and I mean, behind the scenes, I've been fortunate enough to be on in a couple films, and it's nuts the amount of work that goes into just every single shot
Ah,
that is part of that, and
like a
the
20-second
writing I can only
shot.
imagine.
Yeah,
The writing I can only imagine, like the script supervising, it must be
yeah.
so detailed and crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's your brain is going a mile a minute. I was doing it for the scenes that we had done in class, and I'm going to be working on a project um, later this summer where I'm going to be a script supervisor. And yeah, it's definitely, you got to be ready. You got to be ready for it. But yeah.
Yeah, like even something as easy, guys, as you think holding a mic, holding a boom, it's
That's
actually so
hard.
difficult.
Yeah.
Because I had to do it just like for like 30 seconds where someone was holding it, and I'm like, okay, but guys, like the mic's not pointing towards the person, and then it's like, no, you can't be in the shot, and it's
Yeah.
so
Like
crazy.
it makes you really appreciate every single person and the role that they do and how important their job is to the entire vision. Like even a 10-second shot, like a 10-second establishing shot, so much goes into that. And you don't realize that when you're watching a movie. When you start doing films and stuff like that, you're like, man, that must have taken 3 hours to shoot. No, it's wild. It makes you it definitely makes you appreciate each person and the work they're putting in.
So when you see the end credit scenes, guys, and you see all those credits rolling, appreciate
Yeah.
everyone that's there because believe me, the film wouldn't be the same without them.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, the last question is there a story that you would like to tell now with your new, um, I guess, production company, Dirty Mirror Collective? Um, that's not Shed, but something that you've been thinking about writing?
Right. Well, after we put on the second version of Shed, our next project goal was to talk about, so essentially Shed was about body image and eating disorders, primarily within women. We didn't really specify gender in the show, but it was told through the female perspective. And our next venture, we want to start diving into I don't want to like trigger anyone by saying this, but we want to talk about women's rights and sexual assault and sexuality and what it means to be a woman in today's society, primarily through the lens of sexual assault and things like that. Definitely a darker topic. But yeah, I think it's really important to talk about women's safety. And it's more and more it's getting spoken about. Like we had the Me Too movement and stuff like that, but we have so much further to go. And I know so many women who, and men who, and anyone in whoever would benefit from hearing these stories. And it's something I've wanted to talk about for years. And I even, with my class too at Abbott, we had done some exercises talking about this. And I knew at some point in my life, this was something I was going to make some sort of art about. But once we put Shed to bed, that's kind of, we want to talk about women's safety. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Wow. No, it's true. It like, again, it's the topics that people shy away from that unfortunately need to be told more because it happens way too much. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be happening at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it does happen, unfortunately, and the world definitely needs to see it. You know what I mean? And it's great that you guys are tackling these subjects.
Thank you.
And honestly, I cannot wait to see you guys put it on because Shed was just incredible. You know what I mean? And now shifting gears to something more dark and you know what I mean? There's something that, we talked about catharsis, but also, just getting that message across. I find theater like that with a firm message, this is what you guys should know. It's definitely something that a lot of people need to experience in theater because sometimes, you can't say it, but seeing it, you can feel it more when it's someone else feeling it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So especially with that, I cannot wait. Honestly, it's going to be great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be an undertaking, but it's important. And especially through, theater is just such a powerful vessel. You can convey so much. So yeah, we really, we're going to try to tackle it.
Well, like I said, it's going to be great. And I honestly cannot wait to see the amazing future that Dirty Mirror Collective has. And you, Riley, in general, because there's a lot coming. I can only imagine. It seems like there's a lot.
It means a lot to have your support. Honestly, it really touches me.
Also, I do want to thank you again for being on the episode because it's been incredible talking to you. And we've unpacked so much in this episode. It's been a nice journey and a nice flashback into the past as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And before you go, I actually always shed a light on my guest. So this one, again, is going to be hard, guys. I know I say that on every episode, but it's true. Riley, your passion, it's always there. It's so vibrant. And you've been wearing so many hats, and it's great to see that you're taking that initiative as an artist to expand and see different outlooks. And I cannot wait, like I've said, to see the future for you and your amazing collective with amazing people. By the way, Mia and Vanessa are incredible as well. But it's great, and I know the future is only super bright from here on. So I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're so kind.
Thank you so much for being on again, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Okay. Thank you so much, Riley. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Bye.
The lights are off. The curtain has fallen, and it's time to say goodbye. Thank you all for joining us on the Little Thespian Podcast. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask, either down below or on any of our platforms. On the next Little Thespian Podcast, we have an incredible actor, producer, director, and all-around great human being. His name is Yodakaradenyu Thomas Betton, and I truly cannot wait to talk to him all things 15 Dogs, A Midsummer's Night's Dream, and of course, Gut Girls. We're also going to talk all things Almost Maine, and of course, his and Dusty's production company on the 39th episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. I truly cannot wait. Guys, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to us here on YouTube and ring the bell so you're notified on all future videos, as this helps us out tremendously. Also, thank you so much, Riley, for being on this episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. It was great having you on and great talking to you, as it always is. And I cannot wait to see the amazing future that is in store for you. Also, talking about the future, we have the 3rd episode of the Shakespeare sit-downs coming to you guys very soon when we talk all things Macbeth. We also have a huge announcement at the end of that, so stay tuned because there's much, much more coming, guys. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode of the Little Thespian Podcast, and this has been your host, Matthew Cradnell, telling us to always shine bright. We'll see you all on the next Little Thespian Podcast.